Okay, so what I was saying before is with multiplying and dividing integers, you're either going to use the tic-tac-toe, which has positives from the top left to the bottom right, or you're going to use Dorito Man. So let's say, for example, you have -7 times -4, okay? So in this case, I have a negative times a negative, so that means my answer here is going to be positive. So it's going to be a positive 28. What about 9 times -6? So first off, I'm going to look at my sign. So I have a positive times a negative. So positive times a negative means my answer is negative. And 9 times 6 is 54. The dog is snoring. He's tired. All right, so let's look at division. What if I have -81 divided by -9? Same situation, negative and a negative. So negative divided by a negative means my answer is a positive, so positive 9. Or if I have 16 divided by -2, I have a positive divided by negative, so my answer is -8. Okay, so some other notes. I just wanted to remind you guys about with adding and subtracting fractions, sometimes there's a situation where you have to borrow from the whole number. So let's just make a note on that. So if you need to borrow from a whole number, you're going to add the denominator, so add the bottom number to the numerator. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say, for example, you have 2 1/5 minus 3/5. Okay, so in this situation, I can't do 1 minus 3, and I don't want my answer to be negative because I have this whole number right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 from the whole number. So now I have 1. I'm going to add my denominator to my numerator. So 5 plus 1 is 6. So now 1 minus 0 as a whole number is 1. And then 6 minus 3 is 3 over 5. Okay, so that's how you borrow from a whole number if you need to. One last note that I want you guys to write at the bottom is GEMDOS. So back when I went to school, it was PEMDAS. Now I think you guys know it as GEMDOS. Oops. Okay. So that means that you're going to do groupings first. So groupings meaning parentheses, then exponents. You're going to multiply or divide, whichever one comes first, left to right, and then either add or subtract. Okay? So now that we have all of our notes done, I'm going to help you get started on your practice problems. Okay? So this first one here, it has a grouping, right? It has parentheses. So we know with GEMDOS we need to do our groupings first. So you're going to do what's in the parentheses first. So we have 2.05 plus, and remember with decimals, I'm lining up my decimals, 30.43. 5 plus 3 is 8, 4 plus 0 is 4, 2 plus 0 is 2, and 3. So now I have 32.48 divided by 1.4. So the first number, 32.48, goes on the inside, 1.4 goes on the outside. I need to make this a whole number, so I'm going to move it one place. And do the same on the inside and move it up to the top. Okay. And then you just divide. So go ahead and press pause and do your division. Okay, and know that you can be checking your answers in the Excel document with the conditional formatting, okay? So the next one, again, we have a grouping, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that first. But I have 3.62 minus 5.9. So the second number is bigger. So I need to do boom, boom, right? I need to add the opposite, okay? So different sign, right? I have a positive and a negative, so I'm going to subtract. So 5.90, and I have to line up my decimal, 3.62. So I'm going to borrow, make that an 8, that a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 minus 6 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. And I'm keeping the sign of the bigger number here, so I have a negative 2.8. And then, since 4.3 is just on the outside of the parentheses, it means we're going to multiply. So I always put the number with more numbers, doesn't necessarily have to be bigger, on the top, times 4.3. Let's go ahead and look at our sign. We have a negative times a positive. So knowing with my tic-tac-toe, right? Draw it if you need. If I have a positive times a negative, my answer is going to be negative, okay? All right, so finish that on your own, and then you can press play again when you're ready. All right, so this next one, I wanted to go ahead and help you out getting started with it because it has negative 2.4 divided by a fraction. Well, I know that 1/3 is 0.3 repeating, and I can't do anything with that. I don't want to change that to a decimal. So that means I need to work as a fraction. So I have 2.4, negative 2.4. So what you do to change the 0.4 is you're going to take the decimal, you're going to pull it down and make it a 1. And put a number for every, or a 0 for every number on top. So 2.4 is the same as negative 2 and 4/10. But I can also simplify, I can divide this by 2, so I have 4 divided by 2 is 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So really I have negative 2 and 2/5 divided by 5 and 1/3. So remember, we can't divide with mixed numbers, so we need to change them to improper fractions. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12, so negative 12 over 5 divided by, always rewrite it, 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16 over 3. Now I want to keep change flip, right? So negative 12 over 5 times 3 over 16. So you're going to multiply across and simplify. Since I have a negative times a positive, my answer is what? Negative. Good. So go ahead and press pause and finish that one. All right, so the next problem has several steps. So we have a parentheses here. So that means we need to take care of the parentheses first. So I need to multiply these, but I can't multiply a mixed number. So I need to change it to an improper fraction. So 5 over 3 is, or 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So 17 over 3 times, and then to change a whole number into a fraction, you just put it over 1. So once you multiply that, make sure that you change, that you find a common denominator. All right. So let me just help you real quick. If I multiply across, I need to do 17 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 5 is 13. So I have 136 divided by 3. Well, 136 divided by 3, so 3 times 4 is 12. 16, 3 times 5 is 15. Remainder 1. I'm going to stop at my decimal to get a fraction. So 45 is my whole number. This 1 at the bottom is my numerator. And I keep my denominator of 3. So now I have 1 5/8 plus 45 1/3. So I need to find a common denominator. So you want to think about the least common multiple, okay? So I'm thinking about 8 can be 8. 8 times 2 is 16, 24, 32. And then I think about 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. Okay, it looks like the smallest number in both is 24, okay? So 1 and whatever over 24 plus 45 over 24. So 8 times 3 is 24. So 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 8 is 24. So 1 times 8 is 8 over 24. 45 plus 1 is 46. 15 plus 8, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 46 and 23 over 24. Alright, so we went ahead and finished that one together. Let's take a look down here at this last one on this page. So again, we always want to do our groupings first, but here I have a negative and I have subtraction. So I need to add the opposite. So now they have the same sign. I'm going to add and keep them. So in order to add fractions, I need a common denominator. So let's look at the least common multiple. So I have 4, 8, 12, 16, and then I have 6, 12, 18. Looks like 12 is my smallest. So I have -1, and then how do I get to 12? So 4 times 3, so 3 times 3 is 9, plus a negative, let's see, 6 times 2 is 12, so 5 times 2 is 10 over 12. Same sign, add and keep. So I have 1 and 19 over 12. Okay, well, I need to go ahead, and this here is an improper fraction. So 19 over 12, it goes in 1 time, 12, 7. So I have 1 that I'm going to add to this mixed number. So that's 2. The remainder becomes my numerator, and 7 over 12. Okay, and that's still negative because I added and kept. So now I'm going to do -2 and 7 over 12 divided by -2/3. Well, I can't divide with a mixed number, so I need to change it to an improper fraction. So 12 times 2 is 24, plus 7 is 31 over 12. Now I'm going to keep change and flip it. So 3 over 2. Now don't forget, I had these negatives, but a negative times a negative, or divided by a negative, is a positive. Good. So my sign no longer matters. So I'm going to do 31 times 3 and 12 times 2, and then simplify. All right, so press pause and finish that, and then you guys have this next page to work on your own, okay? Don't forget that there's an Excel document for you to check your answers. Y'all are doing great.